successively we've been able to pivot on the digital media track, right? Like anytime something comes up, it's like, okay, we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna do it differently, right? We're gonna switch it into a like an all digital track last year, right? Where we do just as many panels as we would have done during the con, but they're all going to be online instead. And this year, there was a little bit of concern about having to do that again, and so we like worked together to figure out how we would do that, and then like have that set up as a backup, right? And then, oh, actually, no, it is going to be in person. And so now all that work kind of gets pushed into like the physical world, right? And so that level of flexibility and that level of planning, I think, is what really helps the
I
con move forward, right? Like,
I don't know what you said. Your audio cut out for like a minute there.
really?
No, I'm just messing with you.
Oh! I was gonna say I was kissing your ass the whole time.
You were as I want everybody to do. You were help taking critics. We all co-create, and you said something beautiful. I just wanted to watch your face fall for a second. I'm the Tyler Durden every once in a while, and you just gotta see that. No, man, you said it right, and that's what you did. You were saying we and us, and it's because you do jump in, and that's how I want everybody to see it. This is our track. This is our home, and quite honestly, when you're talking about pivoting, even last year, we had to do that was a harder year because I actually had to build two separate track schedules, which doubled the work. Because we had to have one that was going to be real world because we didn't know if it was going to cancel. And then we knew it was probably going to cancel. We had to wait. But so we were building all this other stuff. But that idea, I want my legacy with DragonCon to be the Adam Curry thing. Who? What? But you're living what we built because it's not about me. It's about building something that lasts. And honestly, if we can't pivot, why the hell are we digital media? That's what we do. And so last year was like, no, yeah, I'll give you 2 panels to put on your main track, but we're doing a con. We were the only one outside of the main to do a con. I mean, everyone, I think a couple of other places did, or a couple of tracks did 2 or 3 panels. We did a con. And this year, I'll be on the record saying we are under our number 2 years in a row. The highest we did was about 67 panels. The minimum you're supposed to do in the 5 days is 32 panels, 36. We doubled it, right? Because that's what we do. Because there's so many. Well, I'm going to say you in this case, as the universal you, because we co-create, but there's so many of you that bring so many good ideas and topics, and the energy is on. It's like, how do I say no? Can I fit this in somewhere? So now I'm programming 2 rooms and sometimes 3. And because the celebrities coming in, sometimes 4 in an hour because of big rooms and stuff. But we do it. We do the work. And I mean, I can't say enough about Scott. And Joe Ard, who's lazy SOB, not here supporting me today. That's awesome, Joe. I love you, man. I do love Joe. Joe stepped up in a huge way on the tech team. And when I think the tech team, it's Scott and Joe and me. Really, let me be real. It is Scott and Joe. I've had to step up to that level of making sure this is happening, that's happening, that's happening. Where I used to sit at the table a lot more, I don't. And then they have the rest of the volunteers to assist them to do what they're doing, and it's great. We got a bunch of new volunteers this year. I think it's nice. Except for Scott and Joe, I think it's all new volunteers this year.
Don't scare them away, Charles. We need them.
That's why I let Joe talk to him. Joe's nice.
Joe is nice. We got a shout out in chat here from G. Lindros, 11+ year veteran of DC. You've been doing a great job.
That means a lot. Gary's been the 12 years old. I lose track. I'm really bad. I should count these. Like, I only know how long I've been in podcasting because I got in at the beginning. That's it. If it had been like 2006, 2007, like, I don't know. I'm not going to count that. But because I got it right in, a few months after it became a thing, I can tell you how long I've been in it. But the podcasting track's only been around. It was around for about 8-9 years, and we changed it to digital media. And that was 3-4 years ago. I don't know, man. COVID. Everything now is COVID brain,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Time doesn't matter anymore, Charles. I don't know if you heard. It's April, right? And still Dragon Con is 11 days away.
No, Dragon Con was last weekend, dude.
Missed it. Pivoting a little bit as we talk about like, oh yeah, I've been in podcasting since 2004. How many shows have you done?
Oh, geez. Like episodes or
No, like different shows.
That I could probably count. Let's see.
Yeah, give us the rundown.
All right, you got to understand. You know it's a bad story when you guys see this is what happens. When I started 2004, how old was I in 2004? I wasn't 43, that's for damn sure. I don't know. I was young, I was angry, I was figuring out the world.
32.
And so I started my first show, and I'm listening to stuff, and I'm getting inspired, and I'm liking what people. But everybody, it was soon everybody's trying to be radio, some version of radio, and the other thing that went with that. Well, no, that was the main thing for this story. Was we don't swear, we don't do anything crazy. And I went, fuck that shit. My first show ever was called Pulling My Pod. And it is absolutely a reference to what you think it is. And it was just...
Oh, wow. I had no idea, Charles. Thank you for the clarification there.
I know you laugh, though. You're going to try to smooth it over like, oh, that means like you're picking up your podcast. No, don't smooth it out for me, Lasso. We're good.
No, it's a ding-dong reference, boys and girls.
And it actually came from my brother and I were playing not World of Warcraft itself, but stuff like that where there's level treadmilling, and he would call it level baiting because it's just constant, and he was really, really funny then. He's not so much now. So I was like, let's do a comedy show, and we just tell the worst jokes and do all this stuff. But my production skills really came in. So that was the first, and for the file, instead of being PMP is P little I like chips. Kids, there's a show in the 70s called Chips. That was California Highway Patrol, but the I is little. So that's how I was as pimp, episode 1 and this and that. It was not a good show. If you find it, you're like, oh my God. Actually, I wish I had some episodes. So every time I work with somebody new, like Mike, and like, Charles, like, no, go listen to this episode. I am not cringy today. That was cringy. But then right at the kind of overlapping, I did a show called What I Believe, and it was challenging, people's beliefs in the world and why things happen, and opened the door to some really great conversations. After that, I did Bear Crawling, which became Bear Crawling Nation, which I think then went back to Bear Crawling.
Is that about pastries?
I wish, man.
Oh,
let's talk
bear crawling. I thought you said bear clawing.
No, you didn't. Barrett's. Yeah.
No, I was just, maybe I'm just hungry.
This reference brought to you at Barrett's Coffee. I wish I had some.
God, I wish they sold bear claws, man. I'd be there right now instead of talking to your ass.
I don't really eat that stuff much anymore, so I will absolutely. No, you of all people, because in my mind, you and Stephen are both athletic people I know. Because you climb couches and stuff. I don't know what you do. Bear crawl, right? That's the exercise that you're on your hands and your feet, like,
and you bring your knees up to your elbows or whatever.
Yeah, and you gotta crawl across the field. It works everything in your body. And it just hurts like hell. And that was the premise of bear crawling: is life is hell. But it was like it was like, here's how you come out of it. Let's talk about our shit. And so bear crawling. And that's actually where I started meeting a lot of the people I know now. So that's 3. Oh my God, man, it's been so many. Roadshow. The Roadshow came out of that. That's where I met Hugh. Hugh was on the Roadshow. I did that. I did a morning news show for Adam Curry's network. I did. Dude, it's so much stuff. I was on Blog Talk Radio I did a morning news show for Blog Talk Radio that was separate from other stuff I was doing. chaos and coffee is what I call that. Chaos. I'd get up in the morning, get my coffee, and like, fuck off, morning. Here we go. Here's the news today, and just that was 30 minutes of that. At me at 7:30 in the morning, doing this live. It was not pretty.
It's kind of like this, but
Success Freaks. Scott was the inspirational, motivational, puppetational. This is what we call Success Freaks. That was when I was more or less a full-time motivational speaker. That actually opened up a whole other doors and got me into stuff. Finding the stories, of course, to do now. Let's backtrack it. So finding the stories, ADD, breaking the panel, Two Drunks Game. Jesus Christ, I'm up to 3 hands now.
Yeah.
God damn it. I like to work. That's
right.
Like,
so
I think there's probably 1 or 2 other there.
Between 2004 and
2020. There's 50 episodes of Rock Out of Podcasting where I try to be Henry Rollins and tell a 3-hour story, and I goddamn knocked it out of the park. All right, carry on.
So there's between 2004 and 2021, you've had over 13 shows, right? Is what it sounds like.
Brag, because I'd rather be Brian Ibbett, where I've done 1,400 episodes of one show, as opposed to 13 or 14 shows that you've never heard of.
For me, I think there's room for both, right? And I think that's kind of the whole purpose of these spotlights, right? Is to talk through, like, okay, Rob Roberts has been doing Orange Lounge Radio, the one show, for 17 years. You have been doing podcasting for almost as long, in very different show environments. What helps you know when it's time to do something else?
People. I kind of make a face. So I shut down my first network because I built it wrong. I mean, I have to apologize to all the people that have come along the way, because we all learn life lessons, but what we all thought we were doing was creating a show. What we're really doing was me learning life lessons and building who I am to be uniquely positioned to what I'm about to do. And come October, I'm about to set the world on fire, at least in the state of Georgia. And it's a big, huge, long story. I actually shoot it down and tell and record it for this next project. Anyway, and so what happens, like in our first network, I was sitting at a desk, not unlike this one, and my wife is over here, and we'd been having struggles, and I'd made bad decisions. See, that's the thing, you make bad decisions as you go through and do things, and you try your best, but you lose focus and whatever. And I'd sacrificed a lot of Gary Linders. Put that up on the screen. Put that up on the screen right there.
I won't do it.
Rock Out of Podcasting is still my nickname. Rock Out of Podcasting is who I was born as. That's my God-given name, Gary. Y'all just call me Charles because that's U.S. government shit. No, thank you.
Boy.
And there is like 45 episodes called Rock Out of Podcasting where I talk about who I am and where I was coming from and everything else. But this journey has been a building of things. So I'm at this crucial point. I do too, Swan. Can you get me some? I appreciate you. She needs coffee for the podcast. I don't know if this is a podcast, but for the podcast. Anyway, my wife's sitting there, and we're just at this almost breaking point in our marriage because some bad decisions. And she was just kind of railing on it, and I was like, "Well, my marriage is more important than anything else. What do you want me to do?" And then she said, "Shut it all down." And actually, at one point, I'd lost my job or something. Yeah, I think I'd shifted life early on, and I stopped podcasting for a year. And just didn't do anything. And if you can imagine, drove everybody crazy around me because to talk and perform and change lives and shit. And after my wife heard the same story like the 5th time, she's like, "Would you stop? I've heard it." So I'd find people who hadn't heard my stories. And after a year, I went back to it, and she's like, "God, thank God," and it's been on that path ever since. But she said, choose one. And so I chose Success Freaks, dropped everything else I was doing, shut it all down, wrapped it out, tossed away the network. It kept moving forward. At other times, it has literally been either growth, like Bear Crawling was my show. And early on, I had Dan Carlin. And that was my thing. No fear. I mean, I just don't. I learned what fear was, and bear crawling was really a digital process of me unlearning fear. And so every time somebody pop on my radar, I was like, "Oh man, this guy Dan Carlin did it." I'd call him. I'd look him up and say, "Hey, you want to be on my show?" And he and I became, I'd say, friendly. We definitely know each other. It's not like we pick up the phone and call. If we're going to we'll get beer or coffee or something together. But that's the extent. I don't want to oversell my relationship with Dan Carlin because he's a great guy. But he came on early on and we really, really talked. He ended up being the last person I had on bear crawling. And it was a launch into the next thing. And it really gave great coaching words, but he gave them to me, which I love that. I love when people give advice to the world, but in this case, he was actually talking to me and I loved it. He's like, no, because people like you and me, we're on the tip of this wave, right? It's scary. We're always ahead of everything else. We're always figuring out that next step. And what's rising, because it's about time I shut down bear crawling, Leo Laporte really, I think he had just become the highest paid podcaster for ad revenue. He was getting, he was the most demand of ad revenue at the time. So the wave was really building for the world to know what podcasting was. Because we just because you have to ride that wave, but even beyond riding it, you have to survive that wave. And because we crash off, and I mean, you told a story not long ago, Mike. I think I'm mixing you up with Rob Deerdeck. You're welcome.
Wow,
I love Rob Deerdeck, and you guys
me too.
Yeah, so you're welcome. Yeah. Anyway, you can get hurt. Is the point. But I changed bear crawling because for almost 5 years and I don't care about numbers. I literally ended that show at 298. Any other human being would have done 2 more episodes, right? 300, yeah. 298, that's the last episode that's there. It's me and Dan Carlin, done. But it transformed so many times through the years that I was like, okay, it was growth. So that was a growth moment. Then other times was honestly, you work with people for a little bit of time and then good or bad, something changes. And I'll just reference Success Freaks. It just became, we came together. We learned so much together. And Ricky and I are still really, really good friends, consider each other brothers. He was at the birth of 2 of my kids in the hospital with me. So, I mean, he's family. But we split because through Success Freaks, I realized who I was. And I'd made reference to rock out of podcasting in the past, jokingly, you'll try stuff out, blah, blah. And people are like, yeah. That's where I started to own. I was like, no. You need to understand who I am. This is who I am. And it was very much, long stories about it. It's good listening to Rock Out of Podcasting. There's, like I said, 40 episodes out there. It's on there. And we were our paths were divergent. He needed to go in a different direction than I did. And that was one of the good breaks. So there's been some bad breaks, unfortunately, but that was one of
course. I think that's kind of inevitable, right? Like when you do anything with other people, and if you do it long enough because you're committed and you're good at it and you enjoy it, there are going to be times when things break great, and then there are going to be times when things break kind of bad, and that's showbiz, baby, right? Like, the number of times I've had like improv troupes fall apart for different reasons, right? Like when you get creative, passionate, driven people in a group, people are going to have different pulls, right? They're going to want to take things in different directions, and that's fine.
Yeah.
In the meantime, right? Like there's that middle part where like feelings are hurt. And it feels bad, but then with time and distance, things start to come back together again, and you can repair those bonds if you care to, right? And then things are good again.
I think, and I remember when I left ADD, I feel I left, and then I guess technically we just shut that show down ultimately, and became An Edition, which is a great show.
Thanks, man.
And those cold opens. Although the only difference I do is there's 2 different cold opens. Sorry, side note, but fuck off, I don't care. Is I did a show.
I knew what I was getting into when I signed up with you, Charles.
That's why
I knew this was not going to be a linear conversation.
That's not how time works. Time is not linear. Man. We live everything right now and then. And I'm ADD brain, man. I'm always in the future now. Shut up. All right. Irma Gerd is a mashup podcast. Was with my wife. We did 2 seasons of that, and I would get her talking because I'm setting up stuff, and I'd get her talking, telling stories. And it did it the first episode, and I just kept it for 30 something episodes. Every episode, she's like, "Yeah, and then Sean was and with that, welcome to Irma Gerd." She's like, "Oh my god, you got every without fail, dude. I got her every single time." Then the other one is I'll cut something from the show and put it in the beginning, just out of context. But you guys are anyway. When you focus on who you are, and that's been my whole path, is a little bit of learning who I was, figuring it out. That was my focus. I can't be who everybody else thinks I am, because I was bringing on other people's vision. So that started off the whole journey. Broke a lot of stuff, dude. There's an episode, 2-hour episode, where essentially my parents and I came to an impasse, and that day I was told, "Don't come home unless you apologize." And I didn't live at home. I was married and had kids, and that was I was defending my kids, and it was an issue. And from that moment, for 2 years, we didn't talk, didn't see him. Wow. I came home that day after it happened. I texted Hugh, was my buddy. He's still my go-to engineer if I just need, hey, fired up, because he can record phone calls. I fired up, I need to record something on the road, and he'll fire up the recording, and I'll call him. And I told him that hour and a half, 2 hours, me just crying and screaming and just letting everything out about family issues, and we put it up. I put it up on the web. It was done because I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna live my life open. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of. When you focus on then learning who you are and being that, and I just locked on to where I'm going. Not everybody's gonna go with you. That's that creative process, right? And we have to let go of. That was my hardest lesson, was to learn. I liked working with Mike. I liked working with Tony all the time. I liked when at that time how we did when Steph would come on and Twan would come on. But in that point, the reason I left ADD and Phil for the same reason, we were both dealing with heavy life shit, and I was letting the little things get to me. And the reality was, I knew, without knowing, I knew deep down inside somewhere, I needed to not be a team anymore. And because the reason I had to get past I need a team to succeed. Because I'll tell you, there was that first network, literally, it was the inside mantra. I would never say it publicly. I was like, I need you to be great so I can be great. So I know I can produce, and I know, but I need a team. And that was not the truth. And so that's when you lock onto who you are, and then you don't listen. That when you don't listen, I think it's when it makes those bad waves, and you have bad breaks, which is kind of what happened with another show. But even when it's good, and it was, ADD was great. I had so much fun doing it, but it was just that time of you got to create differently. Brian Ibbett, love him to death. I don't think he and I will ever do a regular show together, like a series. We've done 2 different series together, from the Helicarrier, Pokemon Go. I can't remember the one we launched for Giant Size Team Up, to be honest with you. I forget what it's called. But we've done 3. We did 3 series together. And after the third one, we would easily do a live show together, a one-off or a table or something. We're still great friends, but our creative styles are so different that we've learned what we need to learn from each other and had a good split. You just got to focus on who you are. And as weird as it sounds, or not as weird as selfish as it sounds, fuck everybody else. You can't live for everybody else. And I think it was not even a week after you did the first, y'all skipped a week after Phil and I left. And then somewhere in that process, like, hey Mike, could you do these interview things? I need somebody to do something. I don't remember you approached me, but I remember
I pitched it to you.
Okay.
I was like, hey man, because you had been asking people to do stuff on the channel to get people stoked for Dragon Con. And I was like, yo, I got this idea. I think it'd be good. Because we had just, we had just broken up, right? We had broken up our show. But I knew
you weren't sure where I was. Like, fuck yeah, you're the perfect person. Like, oh, I'm so glad we're good. Like, of course we're good. You're fucking hurrah, Mike Ellis. There's nobody else I'd want to do that. Well, I can't say that. I don't know. I don't. You want to leave the door open to creatives coming in, but
it was really nice. You were giving me a great compliment, and then just Well, I mean, maybe.
I need you to
I'm
pick up things, baby. I need you to go from this to bigger next year and let somebody else take over the this tiny little show that nobody watched. No, I was kidding.
Wow.
I don't know why I do that, Mike. I don't know why I have to crush beautiful things. If I
Wow.
was sitting there in the studio, I'd rub your face. You're so pretty, Mike. I'm sorry. Maybe it's all right.
Charles, I wanted to thank you for spending an hour with me this morning.
What? Come on.
Yeah, dude, it flew. But here we are. Yeah, Kruggles in chat says, I don't know why I have to crush beautiful things. It's a very Fight Club mantra.
Fight
yeah,
Club.
we can tell.
Too much.
Charles Kruggles says to put it on a shirt. If you were to put it on a shirt, Charles, is there a website that people could find out more about you? And maybe if you had merchandise, buy it one day.
No. Yeah,
this is for you to.
I know.
I'll put the words on the screen for you to read. Just read these, bud.
You're too good, man. You're too good. I can't throw you off. Kermit Flair. Oh, see, Tony. So that's a reference from last night. Anyway, yeah, charlesmcfall.com is a site that actually Tony P. Henderson helped me put together. Because I had it, and it was I do need people, but not to be great. I need people to do the shit I don't like to do, right? Like, and make things pretty. Tony's great at making things pretty. He really is. But he's like, man, I put up this site. We should probably match. I'm like, cool, I'll pay for it. Can you tell me something up there? And he did. And then I tweaked it or whatever. So yeah, charlesmcfall.com, theconmods.com. Absolutely. We have all kinds. We're going to be modifying that here probably October after our season's done of all the new people we've gotten to work with this year.
Nice. Also, I have noticed an increased social media presence from Charles McFall on Twitter and on Instagram.
Yeah. I forget I have that Finding the Stories Twitter. I need to use that more. Of course, Rod got up on Twitter. Instagram. Honestly, Nat, here's what I did do. I went and tried to change everything to Charles McFall. So it's both Rod Got a Pod. So it's at Rod Got a Pod. But if you search Charles McFall across, I stole this from Brian Ibbett. If you ever meet Ibbett and ask him for a business card, he'll hand you a plain white business card that says Brian Ibbett. You flip it over, it says Google me. That's what it says, because you can. He's got a unique name. I'm actually at that point now. You can Google Charles McFall. I'm probably in the top 5 to 10 references because there's a stupid ass character on Family Guy that pops up. That's Coach Charles McFall. God damn it. That's
all right, Charles. When you Google me, a doctor comes up. So don't worry. I will always have an inferiority complex no matter what happens to me.
Yeah,
this guy's out here saving lives. I'm talking to Charles McFall on the digital media track this morning, spending time with y'all, and I couldn't be happier.
You assume he's changing lives. He might be a quack. He might be bad. Saving lives. You're assuming he's saving lives. You're changing lives, Mike.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, in 2 weeks, we'll be at Dragon Con. Come find us in the Hilton basement. Charles will be the stressed out looking one. I will be the one having the time of my freaking life.
I feel like I look like, just get the fuck out of my way. Sorry.
Yeah, that's stressy.
Well, okay, y'all get stressed. I say this also. I'm going to say it here for those who are watching. And I'm going to say it again at Dragon Con. Do not come up to me and go, is there anything I do and not mean it? Because I will cut you off with, is there anything? Go do this. And I've sent people to now I'll ask you if you can get coffee. I do keep a gift card on me. So if somebody it's like anything to do, hey, here's a gift card. Can you go get me some coffee? Because I don't have an hour to stand in line, but I'd appreciate it. But yeah, don't ask if you don't have time to give, because I will put you to work in a heartbeat. And technically a week from tomorrow, Mike, I think you and the crew should be at my house enjoying cold beverages and good food.
A week from tomorrow?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'll be working. That's the 30th.
2 weeks?
I'll still be here in Austin.
It's not even 2 weeks. All right, fine. Monday, Dragon Con, dude. Come on.
Yeah. So here's the deal, y'all. This VOD will hit YouTube in just a little bit. Share it out with your friends. Invite everybody to follow the channel. There may or may not be streamed panels on this channel coming up in.
It will be. The main room will be streamed. The secondary room, we'll see.
Sweet. So there will be confirmed. Y'all heard it here. Confirmed streamed shows on the DragonCon digital media channel. Also, we really appreciate the time that you spent with us this morning and every morning that we've done the show. The time that you spend in the Discord, the time that you spend hyping each other up, building out these incredible creative shows that y'all do. Thank you for all of that. Also, while you're here, I'm going to put a link in chat. Please check out dragoncon.org/about/charity. It's got information on DragonCon's 2021 designated charity partner, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Metro Atlanta. Through one-to-one mentoring, BBB SMA helps at-risk youth discover their full potential, succeed academically, build confidence, and develop skills that lead to increased economic mobility. I have been closing out every one of these with that ask. It's just, if you got extra bucks, why not support the causes that DragonCon chooses to support with us? Thank you all so much for your time. Charles, you got any sign-off words that you want to give to people before I end this broadcast?
So I do get to go to the hour. Thank you. No, I want to say it's just like any other rock star, right? If it weren't for you guys, the creators, and you guys, the fans, this wouldn't be a thing ever. There would be no me just putting together the show. There would be no show. I mean, I ended up on a lot more panels than I thought, but I started off programming myself on 0 panels other than the first one, because I'm gonna kick it off, and the last one, because I'm gonna wrap it up. And I've got the schedule up because I thought you were going to be more business and like, what are the schedule like? What is it? So I actually have the schedule, and there's so many great names on here, and there's new names every year. So thank you all for being willing to be a part of it, both as fans and as creators. And I want to say a big thank you to In Addition, because they're going to be letting us use the StreamYard to broadcast for DragonCon this year. So they're a sponsor of the track. There you go.
Awesome, y'all. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you so soon. Let's party.